All rise.
This is Deeper Than Money. Talk to me. I want viewers watching my show to believe in themselves.
Judge Hatchett is compelling.
If he is not going to honor you, he needs to be gone.
Compassionate.
I don't want you to give up on your dreams. I don't. And I want to figure out how we get this straight.
She's powerful.
If I were in this situation, I would have put you out too.
And she's on the bench.
I feel like I'm being judged here.
That's what I do.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Ashley Adamson is suing Janet Stevenson in the amount of $3,000. Ms. Adamson claims her sister-in-law stole a flugelhorn from her deceased husband's closet after the funeral and says she wants the heirloom back.
Good day. I understand that you are suing the defendant, that you are suing her for some $3,000. But in fact, this is your sister-in-law.
That's correct.
Am I getting the relationship correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, so tell me, why are you suing her?
Well, the defendant came into my home on the day of the repast for my husband. Her brother James, he passed away. The day of the repast, she came into my home, went up into the bedroom, into my closet, and stole a valuable piece of property that was owned by my husband. And since it was his, it was part of his estate. And it was my intention to help settle his debts that he left behind to sell the item. I've already had it appraised, and for whatever reason, she came into my home and just stole it.
This is your brother's funeral.
Yes, ma'am.
You are in your brother's home?
Yes.
You go into their home at the repast, you go upstairs, and you go into a closet?
Your Honor.
And you take, I'm assuming this is what you took.
This is the Sentinel horn. This has been in my family for a very long time. It was gifted to myself and my brother by our late father. And as a part of my deceased father's wishes, because it is in the will, this horn was left to both me and my brother. And we had the understanding that the items that he wanted to keep in his home to show, no problem. We weren't divided about this item. My brother and I had no problems until this woman came along.
This is just hearsay.
Until this woman came along.
I have the will. What do you mean, hearsay?
Your brother, you
As
can't
the
speak for
executor
him.
of the will, which I have a copy for you,
He
Your
has
Honor,
had
if you
it
would
in
like.
his possession the entire time. I mean, we've been
How
married.
long is this? How long has this been?
Well, he and I have
your
been
father
married.
died.
Yes.
You're saying that you have the will. I do want to see the will.
Yes.
And that your father left in the will
Yes.
this instrument.
This instrument, as well as some other memorabilia that was to be divided equally between me and my brother. If one of us wanted to sell it or anything like that, we had to either buy out the other person or we had to agree upon it. My father made his wishes very clear. Additionally, I hold the certificate of authenticity. Why? Because I held all of my father's papers. My brother and I were not in dispute. My brother held the physical item. I held the document.
You came into my house and you stole it.
I didn't steal anything. I'm a
You
Christian woman, and I
walked
do
into
not
my
steal,
house.
and I resent
Well,
that remark,
is just
ma'am.
the most hypocritical thing
I have nothing to say to you.
life.
Stop! But you did go into her house and take it out. Did you ask permission?
She
did you
did
say,
not.
listen, you know?
She did not.
Your Honor,
she did
I
not
had to
even have
find
permission
out.
to be upstairs.
I had to find out from a friend of the family that they saw this beloved family heirloom on eBay for sale. She did not
Actually,
have
it was not on
the
eBay for
courtesy
sale.
to ask
That
me
same
anything.
family member is
She
the
didn't even
one
have the
that
courtesy
told
to let me
that I
know.
could probably get about $3,000 for it if I had it appraised. So I did have it appraised about a year or so ago. And sure enough, it's worth actually more than that. If I wanted to sell it on eBay, you would not have found it on there for $3,000.
Your Honor.
But I did have it appraised, and it was appraised at a value of $3,000.
Your Honor,
Well,
to
all right,
answer
wait,
your
one at a
question.
time, one at a time. All right, so you're telling me that because of the will, that this item was left to you and your brother.
That is correct,
And
Your
that
Honor.
he had physical possession.
And I have the certificate of authority, which no one can
He
sell
had
without
physical
it.
possession and ownership of it far before we were even married. And we were married 25 years. She never asked about it. She never even came by to even visit with him.
You shut me out. I
she
had
was
to find out
always welcome.
again from a friend of the family that my brother was in
I
intensive
shut him
care.
up. That was a.
She
that
has
is not
tried
true.
to
That is the
insert herself
biggest
between
story. That is.
our family relationship.
Enough. Clearly, there's some bad blood between you all.
Yeah, I'll say, yeah.
Coming up on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
She makes it seem like I snuck into the house the day of my brother's repast.
Yeah, you did.
And
You did. Well, you may have come in through the front door,
Yeah.
but you snuck upstairs to the closet.
And later,
So what was going on with you dating her and being on a dating app?
So it was the app we had met on, Your Honor, and
So that kind of makes it okay?
No.
Oh,
So my
okay.
friend, he wanted to find a relationship.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Ashley Adamson, who is suing her sister-in-law, Janet Stevenson, for property theft.
So, if your father and your father-in-law had this will, right? And under the will, it was left to your husband and to the defendant, the sister-in-law. Yes.
Yes.
Right? And so why not take the will, not on the day of your brother's funeral, not doing the repast when you sneak upstairs and take it out of the closet. Why not, when things are over, why not go and say to your sister-in-law, now listen, my father left this to me, and he left this to my brother, and I would appreciate having it back. Why not do that? Why go, particularly on the day of his funeral, why go into her house and take this out of the closet? Why not just explain what happened and that you would like to have it back?
Your Honor, I would have loved to have been able to do exactly what you said. However, it was an emergency situation. She makes it seem like I snuck into the house the day of my brother's repast.
Yeah, you did. You did. Well, you may have come in through the front door, but you snuck upstairs to the closet.
There was no sneaking. There was
there's no sneaking? Oh,
No.
I did not give you permission to go upstairs, period.
Did you give other people permission to go upstairs to use the
And they
bathroom?
were not up there.
There was no permission.
A bathroom.
That
It's a bathroom.
was
I'm not
downstairs.
talking about permission. You know exactly what I'm saying.
Your Honor.
Don't try to be cute about this. You went into the house, you went up without her knowledge, and you went in the closet and you took it.
I didn't go into that home with the purpose of retrieving the Flugelhorn at that
didn't?
time.
Oh, okay.
I went to pay respects to my brother, and it was at that time that I found out from a neighbor that this thing was on eBay. And I said, hold up now. And she showed me on her phone, and I said, I got to get this out of here right now. I'll call her after when things are cool. But I didn't feel like I could leave it there because clearly she was just trying to sell all of his stuff right away. The man hadn't been gone for long.
Do you have any proof that was on eBay? You're going to take this lady's word.
I saw it on her phone. I didn't bring a copy of it with me because she took it down offline.
How do you know
so.
I posted that?
Who else had the Flugelhorn?
There are lots of
Who-
Flugelhorns out there.
Come on.
Yeah.
Was it posted on eBay?
No. I only had it appraised.
You are.
This is wrong. You shouldn't
You're-
have done it
you're full
this
of
way.
it.
You shouldn't. There was no justification for what you did when you went into the home.
Your
that day.
Honor, the property is part mine, as according to the will. So why would I have to ask permission for something that is partly mine? Why would I have to ask her permission like that? I just don't understand.
I was in
Well, let me make you
possession.
I got this.
Thank you.
Hush. The reason is there is a certain thing called decency. Your brother just died. It's the day of the funeral. You go into their home. You did not talk to her. You didn't even say, hey, listen, I'm concerned. Please don't sell it. This is partly mine. I don't care if you don't like her, which is unfortunate. But there's a certain thing called decency in this situation, and that's what I can't get you to understand. You're thinking because your father left it to you and your brother that somehow you can go into your brother's home and just take it and remove it without talking to her about it beforehand. That was wrong. Now, legally, it belongs to, according to this will, it belongs to you and your brother. Your brother is no longer here, but as his surviving spouse, she's entitled to half of it. So you've got a choice here today. You can either return it, it can be sold, you can get your half, or you can pay for half. Now, what is it that you want to do?
I will pay for half, as that would be in accordance with my father's wishes.
I don't know that you're entitled to the full $3,000. Now that I've looked at this will, I think it was left jointly to your late husband and to your sister-in-law. But that means that as the surviving spouse, that part of this property is yours as well. Okay. You were absolutely wrong. You were absolutely wrong to have done what you did. You were absolutely wrong. But you are going to pay your sister-in-law half of this, which is $1,500, because that is the right thing to do. And I don't know if you have it in your soul or your being to apologize, but I hope that you would, because that too is the right thing to do. Are you prepared to do that today?
I'm sorry, Ashley. I know you were going through a tough time, and I wish I felt I could have talked to you, and I'm sorry that it came to this. I truly am.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. But I hope that you understand that there are things sometimes more valuable than an instrument. If there's nothing further, we'll stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,500.
I'm very happy with the outcome.
I think the judge was fair, and I wish we could have worked it out sooner than this.
Coming up,
When she found out and made sure I was okay, she asked if I could remove her as my emergency contact.
And did you?
No.
you're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Olivia Pennel is suing Kyle Anderson in the amount of $843. Ms. Pennel claims her ex listed her as his emergency contact on his medical forms and says she missed out on a basketball playoff game because she was called to be by his side.
I understand that you are in court suing a man who actually was at one time your boyfriend, and you're suing specifically for $843. All right, so tell me first about your relationship with him.
We met at UCLA. We went to college together. We found each other on a dating app. We started dating up until my senior year, until my best friend showed me a profile, his profile, still active, on a dating app.
So what was going on with you dating her and being on a dating app?
So it was the app we had met on, Your Honor. And
so that kind of makes it okay?
No.
Oh,
So my
okay.
friend, he wanted to find a relationship, and so I re-downloaded the app to show him my account and how it worked.
All right, so but now you're suing him. Why are you in my court suing him?
So I thought that was the end of our relationship. I didn't think we would see each other again. A few weeks later, I get a phone call from the hospital.
Why did you get the call?
So I was listed as his emergency contact, which made sense while we were dating because his parents lived in Indiana and I was the closest person to him that knew all of the information that would have been necessary in an hospitalization incident.
So you responded, even though you all had broken up, you
Yes,
did the
ma'am.
responsible thing, you responded. And what happened?
She came and figured out what happened, that it was IV fluids, and that I just needed to get those. And then when she found out and made sure I was okay, she asked if I could remove her as my emergency contact.
And did you?
No.
Coming up,
I was not able to attend the game due to his negligence and not removing me as his emergency contact, despite me asking twice.
you're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Olivia Pennel, who is suing Kyle Anderson for negligence.
So why are you suing him now? I get that you went and you asked him to remove you as the emergency contact.
Yes, ma'am. And not only did I verbally ask him, but I also followed up with a text message, which I have as evidence.
Let me see
a couple
that.
days later.
So she texted you and said, hey, just as a reminder, take me off.
Which he acknowledged.
And you acknowledged?
I mean, yeah, I replied, but you know, like I don't know the date and time. I don't know what I did that day. If I said yes, if I said no, I don't know.
This is very thoughtful. You say, I hope you're feeling better. Texting to remind you that you need to take me off as your emergency contact. To which you replied, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so let's get to the nitty gritty. Why are you here and why are you suing him?
Yes, ma'am. So a year later, I am doing well in my career. I'm in digital marketing and I'm at a Lakers game with my friends. We were all very excited to be there. It was a playoffs game.
Oh, that must have been fun.
Yeah, it was very fun until I received another phone call from the hospital. And they asked me, as his still listed emergency contact, if I could get to the hospital and contact his friends and family, which I told them, of course. I told my friends that I was leaving. They wanted to come with me, but I told them to stay, and I took a ride share to the hospital.
Could you not have gone to a quiet place in the arena and called his parents
Of course.
and his friends without going to the hospital?
Of course I could, but his parents are in Indiana. I don't know the state of where his friends are at, and I've been in the hospital, and I've woken up in the hospital alone, and I would not wish that upon my worst enemy, and I wasn't gonna leave him there alone, especially unconscious.
yet she still charges me for it.
Judge Hatchett's verdict when we return. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
I'm sorry you were hurt. This seems like a very serious accident. But I think because she did what she did and the spirit in which she did it, I think she deserved every cent of the $843. And you're going to give her an apology right now where I can listen?
I'm sorry you had to pay $843 to a game that you had to leave early, that you chose to leave early.
Did you really think that was an apology?
I
An
feel
appropriate
like-
apology? Did you really think? Because you know what? I could tack on a little bit more. I could tack on some interest.
If I may,
If you may what? What do you want to say?
she works a job. She's out of college. She has a very well high-paying job. I don't make money. I'm a student athlete where my entire
You know what?
career has
You're
been
right.
shattered.
This is what we're going to do. Let me tell you what we're going to do. You're going to have, you graduate coming up this year. This is your senior year?
the end of the year.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to let him finish school, but we're going to round it up to like $950. Nothing further. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $950 to be paid 18 months from now. We will stand adjourned.
Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $950 within 18 months.
Any final words or comments for each other?
Good luck with whoever has to deal with you next.
Broke my heart. Now you're breaking my bank. I don't.
Gather your belongings, exit to the rear of the court.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.